Hey YouTube, this is Amber with Skyway Acquisition Solutions. We're a management consulting firm that helps federal contractors. Our team is a unique blend of former contracting officers and industry folks. We bring many years and a wide variety of experience, allowing us to provide the best support to help you succeed in federal contracting. This video series is the Skyway Spotlight. Each video you will learn more about our team members and what makes Skyway so special. Let's get started with today's episode.
Okay, so today I have Vicky with me and we're going to discuss the what and the why. My first question for you is, why did you decide to go into this career of being a contracting officer and a contracting specialist?
Way back, shall I start? Way back in the day, I was actually a secretary for the Signals Warfare Center in Vint Hill Farms for the U.S. Army in Virginia, and I had worked in various clerical positions, but I was pretty young. I was in my mid-20s and late 20s. Anyway, back in the 1980s. And back then you could move up, but I wasn't actually thinking ahead to moving up or anything. I was working at the Signals Warfare Laboratory as a secretary, and I happened to go over to the procurement office, which interestingly enough was in a barn, literally the barn. Vint Hill Farm Station was in fact an old Southern homestead, complete with the house, which was now the officers' quarters, or officers' club, and the barn, which we were in. And even the top half of the barn was still barn. We hadn't even renovated it yet. So kind of interesting. But I walked in, and Janet was sitting at the desk, and she was busy, and the phones were ringing, and people were moving around and asking, talking to each other and stuff. And I stood there just absorbing it for a few minutes. And I said, I could work here. And Janet looked up and she said, "You want a job?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm leaving. We need somebody. Are you interested?" And I said, "Well, yes, I am." And so she was a procurement clerk, and supported 5, 6 more contract specialists and a couple of contracting officers and a couple of other bosses. And I said, but it was different. It wasn't just secretarial. It was procurement related and tracking funds and supporting, helping with modifications and things that go with being in the contracting field. So I got the job, and I loved the people. I loved my time as a contract specialist at Vint Hill Farms, as a procurement clerk even. It was great, lots of fun. And I decided to take a couple of courses. Back then it was buy the books and have them shipped to you. And these great big thick books, and taking the tests, and then I had to sit and have it proctored and everything, and so I took some of the classes and learned more about the position and the whole acquisition environment. And that was back in the day, actually, before times where we actually had past performance, where the government actually looked at past performance at all, and we shared no information amongst the agencies. So it was a different time, but like I said, I loved every minute of it. We worked hard, we played hard. We worked until 3 in the morning on September 30th plus, and got things modified and awarded and stuff. And I would run errands back to my old job down at the Signals Warfare Laboratory and talk with people down there. And I had a guy who was a boss, and he actually pulled me aside and he said, "Why do you love it up there so much and you didn't like it down here?" I said, "Respect the people." The contracting officer and the bosses respect you, even if you're a procurement clerk. And you know, that was it for
That's
me.
huge.
That was it, you know.
Yeah.
So I learned all my contracting at Vin Hill Farms, and we relocated to the old barracks that was renovated for us, and we got a much bigger facility. We had 100 and some people by the time I left, and I got to work in the black world some because that's where I'd come from. Signals Warfare Laboratory was one of those with the guards at the gate and concertina wire around and badges and passes, and we worked in the vault and two-man rule and all that stuff. And I found that while I found it fascinating and interesting, I also wasn't overly fond of it because, frankly, I like to talk about my work, and in that black environment, you can't talk about it so much. So,
I love how everything just kind of aligned for you, but you also knew what you wanted to do. And I think also important is the people, respect, and really truly enjoying who you work with.
yes,
That's invaluable at certain points.
yes.
So then my second question is, what do you think the most important role is for a contracting officer?
Contracting officer today, well, a contracting officer has to manage people very well. Not only contract specialists who work for and with the contracting officer, to award contracts, to manage issues, to work with the PMs, to do all of that. I guess communication and being able to establish and maintain good working relationships, not only with the people that work for the contracting officer, but those in the program office, establish good working relationships over there, and encourage the contract specialists on the team to do the same. I was very fortunate. I worked for a contracting officer who believed in that wholeheartedly and established her good working relationships, and her whole team followed suit. And so we were very good. And one of the things about that was that we would try to not only work with them, but to identify how to make the contract work for the PM. It couldn't always be done, but there are lots of ways that you can work with them. And we didn't take the easy way out. It wasn't just, you can't do that, go away and leave me alone. It was, okay, let's see what you got and what we can do. And if we can't do it here, maybe we can do it somewhere else. I went on a lot of travel back then with the program office to negotiate contracts, but also to help administer contracts, to attend preliminary design reviews, and a lot of different positions to manage and administer those contracts. So I was very fortunate that I had a very good contracting office to work in.
So I think that's wonderful that you've been able to have such a strong support in leaders and just role models. But I also think it's great that you just kind of dived right in and you were who you were. So I think communication is important at being a contracting officer and those relationship management.
Yes.
So thank you again, Vicky, for your time. And we got to know the what and the why.